Hello everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Essence. In this video I want to talk about something controversial again, because I think it's something that's good to talk about. So, at work, not too long ago, there was a discussion that actually took place between me and some of my coworkers. And we talk about a lot of things. We talk about politics, and we talk about sometimes spirituality, and things that are just going on in our lives. So, it's not like it's anything bad. We're open to talking about different things. No one gets offended. We all got thick skin. So, the question in mine was, do you think prayer should be allowed in school? And I ran with this question because I am very certain about my answer. So, to get right down to it, do I believe that prayer should be allowed in school? Absolutely. As long as it doesn't interfere with your studies. If a kid wants to pray over his lunch before he eats it, that's fine. If he wants to, and I'm using just he or she, but if they want to pray on the playground or at recess, that's fine. And in their spare time, if they just want to pray, I don't see the issue. I do not see the issue. I think that it's good, to teach kids, how good prayer is. Because I've already talked about it on my channel, how powerful I think prayer is. And I am well aware that not every child prays. And that's fine too. I really don't care if people pray or not, no matter what age. Prayer doesn't hurt nobody, and not praying doesn't hurt anybody. Okay, so there's that. However, there's also memes on Facebook that ask the same question, and I see a lot of the comments that people are like, it should be mandatory in school. It should be mandatory that all kids pray. And I say, okay. If you're going to go with this, here's my view. 1, are you talking about just one religion or faith? Or are you talking about accepting all? Because if you accept one, you have to accept all. Because you have to remember that the United States is not one religion, one thought, one spiritual path. It is a melting pot of different cultures and religions and beliefs. I feel like when most people say prayer should be mandatory, this is strictly a Christian view, which I've already made a video that I do not mean to hate on Christians, and I don't condone anyone hating on good Christians. Those fake Christians, okay, but not the good Christians. The ones that, mind their own business and just do their own thing. However, I feel like this is coming from a lot of the toxic, more fanatical kind. Because often, kids got to pray to God. Kids got to pray to God. Okay, which one? Because there are ones that are raised Christian. There are ones that are raised Buddhist. There are Jewish kids. There are even kids that are grown in a pagan family. So if you include one, you have to include all. You can't just be selective about this. So if you accept one, you have to accept all, which I don't think pushing your beliefs upon any kid or any adult even, okay. I don't think it's okay at all. In fact, if you want people to be more tolerant of your religion, keep in mind that it's probably not a good idea to force such ideas on them. And then you have the kids who aren't grown up in a religious or spiritual family. Those who either do not believe in God and such, or ones that don't necessarily know what they believe. I can tell you that even though my parents tried to raise me with the Christian values and they tried to get me into the Christian religion. Honestly, I wasn't completely Christian as a child. I always question things, and I think it's good for kids to question what they're being taught, whether it's by their parents, by their teachers, what have you. But I didn't necessarily know, like, I believed in ghosts, I believed in demons, I believed in the afterlife, but I wasn't really sure about God or Jesus or any of that. I wasn't sure what to believe. And even though my, dad, he tried to, talk about it, he didn't really talk about it in the best way. Because it seems like whenever I asked a question, he could not fully answer it. And he would actually, be like, oh, just because. Just because. Oh, yeah, it's just because. And to me, that didn't strike well with me. And so I was never fully a Christian. In fact, I don't think I was Christian at all, even as a kid. I just didn't go with it. But I wasn't sure about my beliefs in if there was a God or why the world works. As I grew older, I started to get my own idea of how things operate. And, I slowly started diving into my own spirituality and trying to learn as I go and try to find the truth. And I'm still looking for the truth. And so I feel like that prayer should not be a mandatory thing. If a child does not want to pray, either because they are not sure what they believe, or if they don't believe in anything at all, that's fine. If they don't want to pray to your God, but they want to pray to the one that they know best, probably because their parents introduced them to that particular one, or maybe one that, because kids are curious, they might have an interest in a particular one, which I don't know too many kids that do, but I'm sure there are some out there. That's fine too. But it should not be mandatory, in my opinion. To me, prayer is good. Prayer is very powerful, especially if more than one person is praying for the same thing at the same time. However, I do not fault anybody or hate on anybody for not praying or not believing in prayer or not believing in God or spiritualism or any of that. I don't hate on atheists. I do not, because it's none of my concern. That is their journey, not mine. And no matter what age you are, whether you're a little kid or you're a full-grown adult, I do not believe anything should be forced upon you. Your beliefs are your own, and they can change over time. A kid might not believe something when they're little, but then grow up to believe it, more when their critical mind starts actually forming. Because little kids don't have they don't have critical thinking skills to the capacity of adults. So oftentimes they're not going to really understand everything or know what they think or believe. Now, I believe that a parent should have the ability to, of course, tell them to brush their teeth, tell them to eat healthy, tell them that exercise is good, teach them that going to sleep at a reasonable hour will help you feel wide awake and refreshed in the morning. That kind of stuff is a parent's right to do, because they are currently molding the child to become, hopefully, a well-rounded human being and hopefully become a well-rounded adult. However, so here's what I'm going to think. I don't have children. I do not want children anytime soon. The thing with me is that, children love me. I make them laugh. I can be silly. I can have a good time just messing around with imagination and just like kids. I'm a kid at heart. But after a while, I'm like, go home to your parents. I'm done. I'm done with you. So I do not want kids. And I don't see myself having kids for the foreseeable future. But if I did have a kid, my parenting style that I think I would go with in terms of religion or spirituality, I would be open to teaching them about the things that I believe. And if they take on those same beliefs, that's fine. If they don't quite believe in my beliefs, I would encourage them to try to find their own thing, their own belief. As long as it's not hurting anybody, it ain't a problem. If, for example, if my child believed that God was a giant old man sitting on a big fluffy cloud with the head like the sun, I would let them run with it. They're children. Children have active imaginations. It's the one great thing about children is their imaginations are so vast and so amazing. They can come up with a lot of good ideas through their own imagination, and that very child may grow up to become a very imaginative adult that brings great change to the world. And even if my child were to still believe this as an adult, that's their thing. I am not going to try and change their beliefs. If it's going to change, it's not going to change because I tell them to change it. They are going to either have to change it on their own, or they are just going to remain how they want to believe. But forcing someone to do anything is not a great way to actually get someone to do something, Forcing people is going to make them very bitter, and they're not going to want to be a part of it, and they're probably going to be very bitter towards you and the ways that you are trying to force upon them. So, to summarize the point of this video, I do believe that prayer should be allowed in school. It's not something that's going to hurt anybody, and as long as it's not distracting towards their studies or other children who are trying to study, and the child is not doing anything to force their own beliefs upon their other children, which is usually something that they learn from their parents, it should be allowed, but it should not be forced, because there are children from different backgrounds and cultures, especially those who may not believe in anything at all or may not know what they believe yet. And that has to come from them. You can't force it upon them. You have to let them figure it out. After all, that's what they're going to have to do as an adult. You may be able to guide them, but not force anything upon them. So I don't think it should be mandatory. But allowed in school, yes. Let me know what you guys think on this discussion. I would be eager to hear what you have to say in the comments section. Do you believe that it should be allowed? Why? If not, why not? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell button so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And have a blessed day, everyone. Bye-bye.